You're absolutely right on that. And I was just talking about on our show today that there are no dynamic players at the wide receiver position. So it just leads to Sam Bradford having to be a better quarterback and rising the level of the players in which he's throwing to at this point. He isn't making his guys look as good as they should be or play beyond what they should be. And that's a major point of emphasis in this offense. Chip Kelly was supposed to be this guru on engineering plays that, throughout the league. He was supposed to be the new vogue thing, but at this point he has guys out there that he hand chose, because everybody right now that's out there are guys that he hand chose, even Cooper as far as signing him to a new deal. Those are his guys. These are the guys that are supposed to go forward in this offense that he put together and he brought together. So, a lot of the earners doesn't need really to be on Sam Bradford. I think it really needs to be on Chip Kelly as the GM, then Sam Bradford, then those receivers.
I agree. Look, I'm not putting Bradford for last night at the top of this list, but 7 games in, he's got a big chunk of the pie. He's not played well enough. Let me ask you, Barrett Brooks, breakfast on Broad, 6 to 8 weekday mornings on the Comcast network. Barrett, if he plays less than 50% of the snaps, the Eagles get a 4th-round pick. So, meaning if they come out of the bye, realistically, Sanchez would get 9 starts unless he got hurt. Do you say, I'm going to wipe my hands clean, he's not my guy in 2016, I'll take the 4th-round pick, and we'll move on?
I can't say that I would do that because there's not a lot out of there right now that you could really say is better than Sam Bradford. Look at 50% of the guy quarterbacks in the second half, the bottom half of the NFL, and I guarantee that half of those teams would want Sam Bradford to be their quarterback. He didn't play bad enough this last week to warrant him being out of there, but he didn't play good enough to really save his job. I just don't think they have anybody in there that could really replace him and that you can say you can go forward with for the rest of the season. I don't think Sanchez is that guy. He doesn't have enough talent. He's not more talented than what you're seeing from Bradford. I think it'll be almost even, if you put Sam Bradford in as far as production.
Well, I would say this. I agree with you, Barrett, that I don't know that Sanchez is more talented or better or yada yada. However, is there something to be said that he is more comfortable in the offense, knows it better, has better chemistry with the receivers, and being in this offense for a second year after surgery, that arm's a little stronger, that maybe he feels more comfortable running this offense, and he is signed for next year too. So if there is no answer of it's not Bradford, who's it going to be? At least let Sanchez play for these 9 games, and then maybe he's your starter next year as you get ready to groom another guy.
I really don't think. And, it may not be just because of the player and where they need to go as far as being the player. I just don't see Chip Kelly doing that just because he's not one to say that he's wrong about anything. And that'll be the biggest thing. He will not feel as though he's wrong for making the decision he made to bring in this guy, bring in Bradford. So if he does that, that is automatically puts the black eye on his decision-making as a GM, number 1, and as a coach, number 2. He's not going to do that, nor is he willing to do that, nor will he ever do that. He's still passing the buck as far as, what's going on with the offense, what's going on with the team, period. It's not his fault. It's everybody else's fault. So I just can't see him doing that.
I don't see him doing it either, but, just a thought process of, hey, if you're Chip Kelly, the GM, and you sit down and say, well, this guy's not going to be in our 2016 plans, and I can get a 4th-round pick for him, that gives them 2 4th-rounders. They already have 2 3rd-rounders. They can maybe then recoup that 2nd-round pick that they lost and kind of wash their hands and move forward. Look, again, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he said today, no, he thought that Sam was playing well. We're pleased with Sam. Do you think he's covering up too much for Bradford?
I really think he is. That's what I really think he is. He's covering the fact that his decision to bring this guy in. And Sam Bradford, to me, I feel as though he hasn't played to the level at which he should be playing. Even though you are what your stats say you are, and he has basically the same stats that he had when he was in St. Louis. He just hasn't played up to his potential. And I think a lot of the reason also, not just him, but the fact that he has also, I think the receiving corps that he had in St. Louis, that if he was in St. Louis right now, would be better than what he has here now. Tavon Austin, I'll take him all day as opposed to what I'm getting from Jordan Matthews.
These guys are dropping passes. I understand that Obviously, that's tough on the quarterback. You know, to me, Barrett, the telling sign was on a third down multiple times. He's looking to go to Miles Austin as his, security guy. That tells you all you need to know about the talent there. 8 drop passes, but are these passes, while yes, they got to make the catches, are these all passes that are where they need to be? I mean, to me, the Huff pass is a little behind him. He's got to twist and turn. And when you make a guy like Huff have to twist and turn, well, you get an average guy, he's not going to make that catch. Same thing with Miles Austin on the 4th down play to end the game. Yeah, Austin, catch the damn ball, but it's a little high and it's a little wide, and it's like, come on. Like, you were supposed to be a guy to elevate this team to the next level, and you're just making the same poor throws that the guy before made as well.
It's almost like we have a carbon copy of Nick Foles, with the exception he's a little better athlete, a little better armed than Nick Foles. I'm still looking for, because I was the biggest Dan Bradford fan of everybody, but I'm still looking for the accuracy that I saw before, the decision making that I'm supposed to be seeing right now, and it's just really just what they're doing as far as running this offense. I don't see anything right now. I mean, it's not. We're not at the point now that he's really doing a good job at it. I mean, I just don't see it. He is not raising the play of the receivers around him. And when you have deficiencies in the position you have, the talents you have at those positions, then you're supposed to be the guy to raise them up. But I also don't see a guy like T.O., I see a guy like give me the damn ball type of player on this offense that could carry the load. I was on teams, special teams, that had guys that would do that. Jerome Bettis, Hines Wards, guys like that. Even when I was with the Eagles, Ricky Waters, Urban Friars. These guys were taking it upon themselves to win the game for, and I just don't see that in the caliber athletes that they have on this team right now.
Barrett Brooks with us, Super Bowl champion. What'd you think of Chip Kelly's game plan last night? I know Sam Bradford said after the game the game plan was to work the underneath against their linebackers. If I told you, Barrett, this is our game plan this week, we're going to work the underneath, what do you think?
I said, are you nuts? Did you see what Davis and Kuechly were doing last night? They were unblockable. I've never seen guys run sideline to sideline, getting upfield, making plays behind the line of scrimmage like I saw with Davis. And Luke Kuechly, from sideline to sideline, we just couldn't block him. I'm looking at Lance Johnson last night on the controversial quick screen they ran to Josh Huff. And if you look at it, it was Lane Johnson's responsibility to get on him and block him. I really believe if he got a little more on him, at least tried to cut him or something like that, try to make him arc instead of having a straight shot to Huff. Huff would have gotten the touchdown. Gotten a first down and might have went the distance for a touchdown because everywhere else it was blocked. I mean, look at Josh Huff made the first initial guy miss. Keith cleaned him up. If you look past that one block right there by Lance Johnson, he would have gone, at least gotten the first down and maybe even scored.
Barrett, one of the big keys of the game, in fact, on Friday when I gave my keys to the game, it was penalties. It's not something that's talked about a lot. Turnovers and special teams, they always seem to be thrown out there. But the Eagles are the second most penalized team in football. They had over 60 penalties for over 500 yards. Carolina, 30 penalties for about 245 yards. Isn't that the sign of a bad team when you were an undisciplined team, and didn't it rear its head again last night?
Absolutely. This is one of the most undisciplined teams I've also seen. Just for a simple fact, look at their production in the first quarter. Up until last week, they had only scored, 7 points? 7 points in the first quarter. That shows a team that's not ready to come out there and discipline team, not go out there and execute the offense or the defense or the special teams that they practiced for. It seems like they're waiting for somebody else to make a move, then they turn around and make a move. The lack of discipline, the lack of teaching as far as getting these guys ready to play in the first quarter so they can go into the second and third and fourth quarter without being because they let the other team impose their will on them. So I really, Chip Kelly has a lot of coaching to do. I don't think that he's coaching up to the ability I've seen him coaching in the past. And I'll tell you the truth. He's usually a quarterback guru because every quarterback he's had has played well, with the exception of Sam Bradford. Maybe, his whole facade on this team is starting to wear a little thin. The patience is starting to wear a little thin. And you see a little thin in his armor. Maybe he's not the Chip Kelly that they saw 2 years ago. Maybe they think where, all right, all these, sports science and these shakes aren't meaning nothing but not paying Brazil.
If they made a change to Bradford, do you think that signifies them basically giving up?
Yes, I think it's a sign of defeat. Not just for Chip Kelly, but to everybody on that team. He's supposed to be the guy that's spearheading everything in this offense. I really think that.
All right. Again, defense played pretty well, gave him a chance to win. I'll be honest, Barrett, 7 games in, I don't know that there has been a game. They've put up some points, but I don't know that there's been a game where you say this offense really looked good. Second half against St. Louis, New Orleans, first Jets, they put 24 up. But as a whole, I don't know that they've won any of these games because of their offensive performance.
They definitely have. There's going to be a little rift in this locker room just because of that, because you have to go out and execute off this whole game. And thus far, the defense has really been keeping them in. The defense play level, which is, garnered them to win a few games they have, or the 3 games that they have won. So you can't look at these guys and think that they're going to take this beating that they've been taking and not them say anything about it. Chip Kelly really needs to sit down, evaluate, maybe point the finger at himself a little bit. Be like, hey, instead of talking about drop balls, let's just talk about the team. Is the team as a whole ready to go out there and play?
Well, it sounds, Barrett, it sounds like, though, he said, I went in there after the game and I told my guys we're a good football team, and then he followed it up by explaining, well, if we don't get a hold here and if we don't go off sides there and if we don't – but that's what a bad team does. They make those mistakes. That's why you're not a good football team, because you constantly make those mistakes.
Exactly. Those mistakes are being made by your team. A team that you handpicked.
But it sounds like he's justifying them by saying, we just need to do this, but 7 weeks in, if you're not, that's who you are.
Well, you are who you are. You are what your record depicts you are. At this point, the Panthers are a 6-0 team. I mean, they went out there and showed everybody, you need to mention us as far as the top-tier teams. I haven't seen 6 undefeated teams this far into the season ever. It's never happened before. And I mean, I just see the parity in the NFL just going away. The parity used to be, you only had 2 or 3 teams. But I mean, just look at the lack of competition in a lot of these divisions, especially the NFC East. Just goes to show you that, I don't know. I mean, maybe we need to think about finding another GM and going forward. Well,
I would assume, and this is just me, if they have a new GM, Kelly's probably out the door by his own choice.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. You can't give it to him and take it away. But, I mean, this is only his first year doing this. But these are his guys that he has picked up.
Real quick, Murray or Matthews?
It has to be Matthews. His production per plays is just so far better than Murray that it's ridiculous. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. And he continues to say this Deuce, the one that's going out there and putting these guys in. If push comes to shove, go down to Deuce and tell him, hey, I need Ryan Matthews in the game. He's that good. Give him the opportunity to tote it. Give him the same opportunity you've given Murray, and see where the results you'll get.
Yeah, the explanation he gave today I thought was somewhat preposterous. The guy hurt himself on a 22-yard run. Well, then he ran for a 63-yard touchdown. Yeah, but if you notice, he started running past those guys. He was showing big explosion. That was just a ridiculous explanation. And, well, he was still on the field. We just were in passing plays. Well, then guess what? Then you're not calling the right. It was very frustrating. Barrett Brooks, of course, the Eagles with a bye this week, a much-needed bye week. And Chip did say not going to be a lot of changes, Barrett, because they're not even practicing this week.
Right. They're gone until next Tuesday. Can you believe that?
Whew, unbelievable. Well, I'll tell you what, it should be an interesting week when they get back, and, of course, we'll break it all down with Barrett when they do. Barrett Brooks, Breakfast on Broad, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I'm sure plenty more opinions from you there. Good stuff as always,
Absolutely,
pal.
Man. Take it easy, bro.